In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what the most effective strategy is you should be using when choosing your defense in fantasy that most people are not taking advantage of. What's going on? This is Steven with Back to Basics Fantasy, and I'm going to be sharing with you the most effective strategy that you should be using when choosing your defense. And that strategy is streaming. If you don't know what streaming is, essentially what it means is that you are choosing to make your starting decision based on matchup rather than just overall talent. A streaming defense strategy will focus more on acquiring average defenses who are playing below average offenses. So that's kind of the mind switch when you're streaming, is a lot of the times you need to focus more on the team that they're playing, more so than just the overall skill level of that defense itself. So one of the big reasons that this strategy is so effective is because the top defenses in the league are not matchup proof. So while you might think that you get a top 3 defense, whether it be the 49ers, Ravens, Steelers, whoever, on a week-to-week basis, they're not always the best option available. And to second that, there are just so many other good options depending on matchups on a week-to-week basis. Just mathematically, in your league, if you have, let's say, 10 to 12 owners in your league, you can have upwards of 20 different teams available on the waiver wire to find the best option. And you don't have to feel stuck by starting the team that you drafted, who was expected to be one of the better defensive choices. So you decided that you want to actually implement this strategy and start streaming defenses and finding opportunities where teams are playing against poor offenses. So how do you do that, and what do you look for? One really good way to find those opportunities is by looking at Vegas lines and trying to find teams that have a low implied point total. So how do you do that? Let's take an example. Titans versus the Jaguars, and the Jaguars are 5-point underdogs. So you're taking a look, and the over-under is set at 40 points. To find the implied point total for the Jaguars, so what you do is you take that 40-point over-under, divided by 2, so you get 20, and then subtract the point total that they are expected to lose by, 5. So you got 15 as an implied point total for the Jags. And so that's just a good way to kind of identify teams that aren't expected to score a lot on a weekly basis, and that's where you can find opportunities where others can't. And just along those same lines, when looking at bad offenses, look for teams that are already prone to turning the ball over more. Quarterbacks who have shown that they throw interceptions, that they fumble the ball. Those things tend to repeat themselves throughout the season, and that's where you can really find the opportunities in finding defenses matched up against those teams. So just some basic tips to remember as you're using this strategy is be flexible. Don't feel locked into playing one team week after week after week just because they are considered in your mind or other people's minds a great defense. There's opportunity each week, and just look at the waiver wire and be flexible and make changes throughout the year. And as you're looking at the waiver wire on a weekly basis, take a look at those defenses, look at the schedule, and start planning out where there are opportunities down the road where there might be a defense who has a 2-3 game stretch, potentially even more, against some poor offenses. Try to get them on your roster if you can at the back of your bench. And next thing you know, you have a stretch of 3-4 weeks where you can just plug that team in, and they're a great option for those 4 weeks. And then always just keep looking ahead and trying to find those opportunities. If you found this information helpful, hit the subscribe button below. I'll keep providing tips, advice, and strategies throughout the year to help you make the best decisions for your team.